Hello everyone. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week this week. Hopefully you guys do not have work tomorrow. If you do, I am terribly sorry. But if not, we have a wonderful randomizer here to kick off your wonderful weekend. We are towards the end of week 6 of our Swiss round. So our runners now are 3 and 2. And although this race is not likely to have too much to do with our brackets here, we're still looking for some people to have a good race. These guys are both very good at what they do. We have oneup40 on one end and matt7898. I swear I can read. I swear I can't on the other side. If you guys are unfamiliar with the spoiler log format, basically how it works is they have 15 minutes to run through the entire spoiler log. It's going to give them everything they need from item placement to stun. And they have to make a route in 15 minutes. It sounds like a lot more time than it actually is. So our runners are going to head into this with approximate knowledge of most things and hopefully the vast majority of a route planned out for them. You're going to see a lot of chests skipped and generally just most likely a low percent set of seeds here because you're not going to be grabbing the arrows, the bombs, the pieces of heart that you normally would in a regular random. We have about 15 seconds left here. As you can see, oneup started at negative 15 minutes, which is why he is down to about 10 seconds, and matt7898 just went ahead and switched everything over, so hopefully we'll have synced up timers in a second. We do have a new, what looks like Detective Pikachu sprite on the left-hand side. That is one of the new sprites we've gotten as a result of our wonderful people who, oh, never mind, it looks like a Bowser now. I have no idea what that sprite is. Never mind, I thought it was Detective Pikachu, and yeah, I don't know. Either way, we do have opposite starts here. Matt went ahead and grabbed the bow out of Link's house and is now headed towards the more standard Sanctuary start, and oneup40 is headed straight towards Kakariko. We are foregoing any early tree pulls or bush crab drops, so we must not have anything that our runners want to deal with there. Oneup is headed straight into Blind's hideout, and it looks like Matt's going to be following in his footsteps. Cool, that is a really early flute as well as a bunch of bombs. It's actually pretty nice there. So that flute's going to be super cool because we like having quick movement. And that is just, that's one way to do it. We'd love some early boots, just be dashing around super fast too. But we're going to have to deal with the flute for now. Hopefully those boots will show up sooner rather than later. Alright, so we got some flippers here, a boatload of money, and that is all the well has for us today. So far, Kakariko has been fairly friendly. Alrighty, and there's our 2-minute flute activation. We're going to take a stop at the chicken hut here, and then we'll see where we go from there. Alright, so Moon Pearl out of Chicken Hut, and now we are headed over towards the 8 flute spot. We are avoiding the Ice Rod Cave for now and gonna go check out some flipper locations. Or maybe head over to Mini Moldrum Cave. Never mind. I'm sitting here jumping the gun, guys. Alright, and the divergence is underway as Matt is headed towards the actual flipper locations, I believe. Yep, because you cannot get too many Moldrum Cave from there. So we're going to have a check of Hobo, it looks like. A full magic drop is super nice to have. The spoiler log does not tell you what the what the prize packs are. So that was just a very happy coincidence. But you don't generally pass up full magical decanters when you get them. And there's a sword out of mini Moldorm caves. That is our first infinite weapon, so to speak. It's really nice to have one of those early as we get another full magical decanter. Alright, so oneup grabbing their second sword on Hobo as Matt is headed towards the eastern area here. Looks like we're going to take a stop at the Bacchus the Hospitalist closet and see what we have for us today. We already know what all of our pendants and crystals are. Those are part of the spoiler log, so you can see all the information down below that our wonderful tracker Yoinker's wife has gotten for us. That being said, you are not going to see any overworld or dungeon map checks unless one of our runners fat fingers the controller. I can understand the hesitancy with believing that Bowser can win anything, but we do technically have Dark Link on the other side, so it's not really a fight of good versus evil in this case, I don't think. Nice powder, actually. That fire rod, powder, and mirror. That's a loaded back of the closet right now. Nice double hit with the bomb there. That's going to be grabbing their second sword, and we'll see if they grab anything else. Alright, so into Hyrule Castle we go on oneup side, and it looks like Matt might be heading the same direction. Yep. And without a lamp. Looks like for both our runners without a lamp, we are going to be doing some really fun AGA. So go ahead and get your miner's helmets on. We do not have a fire source that's going to help us in a lot of these rooms. The fire rod will light up the maze for us, but there are not torches in all of these rooms, so we're going to have to transverse some of this in the dark. Matt is taking a stop towards the back of Escape first. We'll see what's over there in a second. Speaking of dark rooms. And this is a situation where the Master Sword really comes in handy. That ability to just have a really, really rapid-fire, long-range weapon is just working out here. There's that torch. Sometimes that one can be kind of a pain in the butt to figure out exactly where it is. We got it. We got a little bit of a magic refill. It looks like oneup is going to have about 3 shots left of that fire rod. Alright, so we got a key there. Matt is going to be headed towards the back. And with no glove for either of them, this is currently the only way to get to the back of Escape. This is going to be close. Okay, that was scary. Alright, so oneup's going to have to play it really careful here. And just kind of sitting there going, is there anything I can do? Alright, so this is the difficult room. This room is the one that has, okay, we're good. We had, I think, one more shot. Well, now we don't have any more shots, but we are done with the dark portion past this one room here. So if we can get through here and then not get hit at all through the rest of the tower, we'll be okay. Oh, that heart is a really nice grab. And Matt is noping out for now, headed up the mountain first. With that mirror, we do have access to Hera. But we do not have access to the east side at all without a hammer or the hookshot. You can't go that way anyways, you don't have a hookshot. Unless I'm mistaken and the hook shot was grabbed out of the back of Escape. Never mind. I swear I have the spoiler log. I know where everything is, but in reality, I don't really pay much attention usually. So I'm running this about as blind as you guys are. Okay, well, thankfully we got that heart refill, or else that would have been it for one-up. Alright, so on one-up side, if you guys want to go ahead and get your guesses in chat, we have 0 through 15 blue balls that our wonderful wizard friend Aghanim could throw in our general direction. So go ahead and get your guesses in chat. The average is usually either 2 or 3 in terms of probability. If you guys want to be nice, you can give them a little less. If you guys want to be less nice, you can give them a little more. That's a nice red goo bottle, as well as a couple hearts. So not a bad Paradox Cave, but nothing in terms of progression. We are getting a sick kid check on Matt's side with a glove. So that is one lifty bit for us. We are still a hammer or another glove short of full-on Dark World access. And that lamp is still somewhere. We don't know where though. Wow. That was a pretty friendly Aga. Yeah, see, all you guys are mean. You guys are all guessing a bunch of stuff. Although Kibibit was close with 2. Only 1 though, so that's actually that's one of the nicer Agas I have seen in these seeds. Alright, so 1UP has the Dark World access that no one wants to see. And is that faster? Huh. I mean, I guess you're not going down the stairs, so okay, cool. The more you know, I guess. Alright, without a bow or a hammer, 1UP is headed towards Pod. Or alternatively, we are just saving the portal. Yep, grabbing that bow out of Link's house. That makes a little more sense. Keep in mind, I don't think either of our runners have done it. I don't know what their propensity is, but since our runners both do know exactly where everything is for this seed, they are allowed to screen snipe if they want. They can also either watch each other's stream or watch the restream if they're so concerned. I do know some runners that will actually go as far as to type in chat while they are racing. I don't believe either of these runners do it, but now that I've said that, I might be very well made a liar of during our next cutscene. Alright, so as Matt makes his way through the dark portion of Aga Tower here, 1UP is headed straight into Pod. I can only assume we're going to have something nice in here since we are not going to be currently able to complete it. We could have something really silly like a hammer sitting in here. That would be, I'm going to say, since we're not the ones running it, I'm going to say that would be amusing, but for someone running it, it's kind of less amusing and more just, really? Matt absolutely emptying the quiver on that red card. And that relatively early mirror there really showing its worth. It is not it's not fun to route pod without a mirror. Matt getting a really nice heart there, up to 2.5, and with only a 1 blue ball Aghanim. I don't want to say we'll be fine or something silly like what could go wrong, because I've seen people ooh, hello boots. I've seen people have bad things happen because of that, but it's looking pretty good for Matt right now. I'll tell you what, Bowser's dashing motion is absolutely hilarious to watch. I'm just trying not to laugh right now, and I'm not fully succeeding. Alrighty, and there is our other glove. So that is actual Dark World access. It's still not fun Dark World access because we don't have that hammer yet. But with the flippers, we can actually still get to everything in the Dark World without using the Aghanim portal. Alright, so it is OneUp's turn to head up the mountain. Going to be checking out the east side, it looks like, with that hook shot equipped. As Matt is headed towards the Village of Outcasts, so ignoring Pod for the time being. Which is interesting. This is one of the really big differences in routing that you'll see between runners. Generally, you'll have a situation where if the boots are, somewhere that's relatively easy to grab, the runners will go for it right away. Because obviously, you want to go fast, and you want to go as fast as you can, as soon as you can. But if it's a situation like this, where those boots are sitting in pods somewhere, and if, for instance, there's a hammer up here, or something else that would allow Matt to more easily get through pod. In this case, most likely a hammer, because then you wouldn't have to double dip pod. Then you kind of run the gambit of, is it faster dash here and then have to double dip pod, or would I rather just get the boots a little later, but clear pod in a single shot? That is most likely what Matt's doing here. Like I said, I don't really look at the spoiler log all that much. I kind of look at it, laugh, and then just keep moving on. So I don't remember where the hammer is, but if I had to guess, it's in this general vicinity for Matt. That being said, 6 Heart Mothula is not something I really enjoy doing. We do have a Master Sword, and that makes it not as bad, but it's not a fun fight. It can go relatively easy if the moth decides to be friendly, but that is frequently not the case. And looks like OneUp is grabbing the blue male sitting in the C-shaped hut, which honestly is a huge pickup for Spoiler Log. You generally don't have a whole lot of hearts, so getting the opportunity to double them is a huge advantage for a lot of these bosses. That's definitely a thought from chat there. We could have something on this green pendant. It would be kind of funny if Sahasrara was like, hold on, I've got something else for you. Because the mirror and the fire rod and the powder isn't enough. Really nice kill by Matt there. It wasn't super fast, but It was successful and it was safe and still got the moth down pretty quickly there, and does get a hammer for his troubles. So that means that Pod can be full clear. Alright, so now that Matt is out of Skull Woods and not likely to be heading back in, now we have the question of what else do you do here before you go get those boots in Pod? Because I can imagine that Matt is going to be grabbing them sooner rather than later. It's just a question of, well, after we get one more item out of Skull Woods, apparently, because the hammer wasn't quite enough. Whew. Alright, and to add to the hammer, we have, goodness gracious, a Cane of Samaria. That's insane. That's a loaded Skull Woods right there. Yep, and now with that hammer and Cane of Samaria in hand, Matt is going to go ahead and make the Pod play. Meanwhile, oneup is skipping that big chest, which we assume there's nothing in since we do not have a hammer right now, and is going to go kill a boss. It's going to be oneup's first crystal, as Matt is heading towards crystal number 2 here. Or crystal number 1 here, sorry, because Skull Woods is not a crystal. Whoops, I can read, I swear. Alright, so that is 6 hits with the blind done. We have 3 more to put in. There's 1, 2, and 3. We took 1 fireball to the face, but overall that was a very, very solid, very clean fight from oneup. And that's 1 crystal for them. 21 minutes, so that's pretty good. Especially since, you know, Aga was the first dungeon both of our runners had to do. Alright, so oneup is now headed towards the loaded dungeon that is known as Skull Woods. Meanwhile, Matt is taking a dip into here, and we will get to see if there's anything else here in Pod, other than those boots. Alright, so bush bonks are always terrible. I hate those stupid skulls in the back of the bushes. They come out of nowhere and they just stop you from going anywhere. So oneup is headed towards our Mothula friend, gonna grab his hammer as Matt is traversing the dark room here just to grab the big key. Alright, so nothing really in the back of Pod here. We're just grabbing the big key and we're gonna be headed straight towards Elmasaur, looks like. That Gibdo not being ideal for 1-up, so we do not have a whole lot of magic coming in here. That being said, blue mail generally makes things a little more fun. Everything in this room only does 1 heart of damage versus the moth doing 2 and the spikes doing 1. They would with green mail. Fight's going pretty good so far. We just should need, yep, 1 more hit there, and the moth is done. It's very nice fights on both of our runner's side. And nice hammer. It looks like 1-up was thinking about doing a save and quit there before grabbing the green pendant, but either decided against it or didn't manage. I'm not sure which. Alright, Matt has pulled out the fire rod. There we go. Turtle room is lit up, so that terrifying potential is no longer an issue, since with that fire rod you can light this sucker up and be able to see what you're doing. It is not fun when you can't. Meanwhile, 1-up is headed towards either Stumpy or K45 here, heading up, so we're heading towards our Stumpy friend. Let's see what we have today. The Bacon Blade. Alright, that'll make the boss fights pretty easy from here on out. Or easier, at least, I should say. Boss fights with 6 hearts are generally easy, regardless of what weapon you're brandishing. Meanwhile, Matt kind of taking it a little easy here with only 3 hearts left. That is 1 spin. Nice hammer hit there. We need 1 more, and Helmosaur goes down. Nice fight there. Yeah, so for those of you wondering what our green pendant has, I would say that if Matt flutes away here, the answer is likely to be nothing. We did have to murder Mothula to go ahead and get the hammer, and both our runners just grabbing the green pendant because they had other stuff to do in the area, I guess. Either that, or it could be for pedestal. Let's keep that fun little possibility in mind. Nice ice rods. We won't have to be looking for that, at least. Matt, meanwhile, coming in here to bonk rocks and grabbing the wonderful set of mitts. And with that being said, we are pretty close to go mode, I'm fairly certain here. We are missing Quake, I believe, and that might very well be it between the 2 of our runners. I mean, a lamp would be nice, but obviously that was fairly early on somewhere. Chat is pushing towards the lamp being in Hera. That's a pretty good guess. I could see it being there. It could also be somewhere silly like Agon's Cave. Oh yeah, so to those of you who are unfamiliar with the Spoiler Log Tournament setting, basically how it works is our runners have had 15 minutes before the race started to go through the full spoiler log of the seed. It tells you where the items are, it tells you what the tree pulls and the bush crab drops are and all that stuff. So the runners do, I don't want to say know where everything is, but they know where all the stuff that they need to beat the game is. That's why you're seeing a whole bunch of skip chests here. 1-up does a really, really nice diver down there, grabbing the 1 heart to refill and then headed straight towards Argus. And yeah, for those of you hoping for a Whoops All Dungeon Seed, you're basically going to be hoping for Quake on Ped, or something leading to Quake on Ped. So that's pretty much all we can have at this point. Argus playing hide and seek with that very last puff ball. One-up manages to grab it, and then very nice quick kill on the second cycle there. So that is going to be, of course, the big keys there. Oh man, I love swamp layouts. I feel like that big key is on Argus way more than it has any right to logically be. And good eye from one of our chat members. We have Quake in the drained item there. So that is no mode for us. One-up still needs the Ether Medallion, and Matt still needs Quake and the Ice Rod. But other than that, we are good to go. Alright, so with Cadence of Mario on hand, this is going to be a pretty quick Ice Palace. We know there's nothing here, unless, you know, silvers are really the only thing that our runners would be grabbing at this point. I'm not sure they'd even grab a Butter Sword unless it were literally right along the way. So that being said, this is going to be pretty quick. If you have not seen Icebreaker, it is a wonderful, wonderful strat that makes Ice Palace not suck. And if you have seen it, well then you know. It makes Ice Palace really nice, so. Alright, nice fight by Matt on blind, and that is going to be his second crystal, as One-Up is preparing for the Icebreaker. Nicely done there. Skipping that chest. Gonna be grabbing one key along the way, probably from underneath the rock here. And then we're gonna be headed straight towards Gold Stair, unless there's something else in here we want to grab. Alright, so with Tempered Sword in hand, Matt is likely going to be heading towards the Swamp Palace himself. And that is going to put him into, I guess we'll call it Dungeon Rush mode, since our runners are technically in go mode from the completion of parsing through the spoiler log. And looks like we are looking for... Nope. So I think that One-Up there was either looking for a little bit of magic or more likely a heart. If you have full hearts and a sword that isn't terrible like the Master Sword, you can actually double hit Cold Stare for Fire Rod shots. And it's a little bit faster. It also uses only half of your magic bar, so if something goes south here, you have a little bit more magic to burn. Cold Stare Puff's getting out of the way a little bit there, but just for the last hit or two. One-Up cleaning up pretty nicely there. And that's a nice boss battle done, and the third crystal level even. Alright, Matt grabbing that Ice Rod, so we are good to go on both sides here. We just have a situation where Matt has Pod completed and One-Up has Ice Palace and Swamp completed. So it's going to be fairly close. I don't really want to call a lead yet because Pod is deceptively long. And One-Up is going to have to go into the back to grab that big key. So it does look like OneUp has a little bit of a lead, but with 6 hearts, even with blue mail, you're always like 1 or 2 mistakes away from losing 2 minutes. Nice little sidestep there to get around the spears as Matt is headed around to grab himself an item back here. I don't recall if OneUp grabbed it, if he did, what it was, but we'll find out in just a second here. Hey, half magic. Alright, so that's something OneUp did not grab. So that could be a very nice advantage for Cold Stare and or the Gauntlet. Half magic puts Fire Rod strats for the Gauntlet into fully operational possibility here. Oof. Those Helmosaurs are really easy to juke until you make a mistake and you don't juke them, and then it's just kind of unfortunate. So OneUp losing a bit of time there, decided to go with the sword spin strat and just get rid of the darn thing. Matt also grabbing a piece of heart there to put him up 7 hearts to 6. Meanwhile, that's a big key for OneUp, and we're going to be headed straight back towards the boss. Nicely done there using Cane of Samaria. Ooh. We had like the first half of one cycle there. It's a really, really difficult strat to do. Definitely requires some finger dexterity to get that initial setup going. And Argus playing the same game of hide and seek with Matt as he did with OneUp here, but still managing without too much difficulty. Alrighty, that's crystal number 3 for Matt. Yep, Matt following in OneUp's footsteps here. Gonna go ahead and take out Ice Palace. Again, pretty quick with that Cane of Samaria in hand, and knowing there's not anything too terribly useful in here. And at this point after this, we're going to need what will probably be a somewhat scary Misery Mire on low health with no lamp. And then 2 dungeons up the mountain for us in the Tower of Hera and Turtle Rock. Alright, nicely done Helmosaur fight there, as Matt is getting ready for that Icebreaker. Nicely done there using the pause buffer strats. They are generally a little bit slower if you can get them right without the pause buffer strats on the first try. But if you're prone to making any mistakes, it's easier just to use that pause buffer strat and be more certain of getting it correctly first time through. Not to mention the fact that magic can come at a premium in Ice Palace, and you really don't want to mess around using a whole bunch of Samaria blocks and then realizing you don't have enough magic for Cold Stare. Not going to really be something Matt's too worried about with that half magic, but just in general, without it, its magic use is kind of tight. Alrighty, so as Cold Stare gets warmed up ever so slightly, 1UP is flying through Mire in the hopes of grabbing a relatively early big key here. Nicely done by Matt. That was a super fast murdering of the Cold Stare. Alrighty, so I'm fairly certain Matt is going to be right on 1UP's heels here, heading into Mire. And as the wild goose chase to grab that big key continues, or grab a small key to get through? I'm confused. The one to grab that small key. Hey, you don't have the big key, buddy. So this is another interesting thing, because a lot of the locations aren't perfectly clear. They could say something silly like Mire map chest or Mire compass chest. And if you don't know where that chest is in the vanilla game, then you could very well open the wrong one. I'm not sure if 1UP thought he grabbed the bridge chest here, which I'm assuming is the one with the big key, or if he just thought it was somewhere else, wrote it down incorrectly perhaps. But that's a little bit of time that Matt's going to get back. Nice one cycle there. And the Popo's not being terrible, so we got to clean it up without too much difficulty. So yeah, that's quite a bit of time back. Matt's still a little bit behind, but we're probably talking about closer to about 30 seconds now. Maybe 45. Alrighty, and with our runners having nothing in the way of safeties, and as I said before, very low health, it is difficult to line up this first room. I think 1UP may have gotten it. Yep, there we go. Took 2 tries, but managed to get it without too much difficulty. And now we are headed towards the switch room. Would be a... Oh, that was a lot of damage. Oh, spikes, okay. Never mind. It's somewhat difficult to tell where people are in the dark. We got there. Nicely done from Matt. Looked like an attempt at Spooky Mire there. I don't think it worked. So we're going to have to place the bomb real quick. With 2.5 hearts left, that is not going to be a super fun fight here, although Matt is dwindling down pretty rapidly as well. I imagine both of our runners are going to be using powder here in just a second. Yeah, Matt not even going for the spooky strats. Alright, so powder the fairy, my good friends, and then you have 6. Never mind, don't powder the fairy. 2.5 hearts. Nope, we're going back to powder the fairy. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's 1-hit KO for Vitreous, even with blue mail, although I might be wrong about that. Alright, we are seeing some vanilla strats, and with absolutely no health to... that's what I was afraid of. Oh, we don't have a fairy. That is rough. Oh, that is huge. If Matt can pull off this fight, then he will have a rather nice lead. Going for the same strats here that 1UP did. At this point, if you get hit by an eyeball, you're in trouble. It's going to be down to, yep, 2 hearts there, so avoid the lightning and then 8 into the big one, and you're okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Such is the insanity of a spoiler log race right there. That fight was looking so good, too, and then that one eyeball just had to go and say hello. Man, Vitreous RNG stinks sometimes. Anyways, Matt is headed up the mountain. We have 2 dungeons left, and then we get to run into GT. Well, we have oneup running around in the dark. Oh, and he had a red goo too. That's really unfortunate. I'd completely forgotten about that grab. While Matt is running up the mountain here and oneup is headed through the dark again, go ahead and give these runners a follow. They are doing this game on way less hearts than anyone really wants to. I'd love to have about triple the hearts that they do right now, but 6 hearts blue mail is not fun going through here, especially without a lamp. Trying to get that spooky mire again, and it still is just not working out. But yeah, go ahead and give these guys a follow. They are both great at this game as they are showing off for us today. Alrighty, so we are headed back into Vitreous Part 2 for oneup. Hopefully gonna powder a fairy here and go back at it with 6 hearts again. Or 5 hearts. Being a little more careful with these video strats here, and then yeah, not messing around. Don't do lightning. Still sorry. Just a couple more arrows to put into these eyeballs. Goodness gracious. Things get dicey with Vidi, man. Vidi's easy if you have the stuff you need to, but if you don't, it gets scary real fast. Goodness gracious. Okay, we have 8 arrows into the eyeball. It looks like onup's trying to save some arrows there. Alright, nicely done. And that is crystal number 5 for oneup. Meanwhile, Matt is running through here. Nice timing on the hook shot and vulnerability. Grabbing ourselves 2 small keys and continuing on. Alright, Chain Chomp room. This is another one of those rooms where, you figure there's, out of X amount of items that you need for a Go Mode TR, the chances of you needing that chest should be less than what it is. I swear, there's something in that chest every single time. Spoiler log, you don't get to skip Chain Chomp room, because that would make the room not terrible. Alright, Matt stealing a key there, so nothing we need in that vanilla big key chest. Now we're going to be heading towards the back of Turtle Rock. Alright, and Matt is not going to be skipping the Mimic Cave Big Chest combo. I'm not sure what's in here. Could just simply have a key. But might have something we like. Wouldn't say no to the silvers at this point. Wouldn't say no to another heart at this point. Or even red mail. Just a key, yep. And the big thing about that key is that if I am correct, and I believe I am, we get to skip Laser Bridge now. So, don't have to worry about grabbing the key. That is probably on Laser Bridge, I would assume. Alright, one up grabbing something I missed the first time. We had silvers in the first chest of TR. So this Ganon fight not looking too bad at this point. We gotta get through Trinex first though, with what's gonna end up being 5 hearts. It's gonna be a little bit scary here, so half magic makes it not scary in terms of losing all your magic and having to restart, but 5 hearts isn't really a whole lot to go off of. Alright, both those get in the way. It looks like the ice rod's going to be putting down a little bit of ice to make things fun for us. Oh, and that is a lot of damage that was done right there. Alrighty, quick refill there so we can breathe a little bit. We do still have that blue goo that Matt picked up. And there's that, so we just have the last phase left here. Dodge one more. We're almost done with this one. I love that that's Bowser in a clown car. That is a hilarious bunny spray. Looks like OneUp is making the same play. Gonna go ahead and grab that small key out of the big chest. Technically, we can forego one small key here since we did steal the key from Pokey. But that big chest probably a little bit quicker than having to deal with Laser Bridge. In addition to the fact that laser skips can go wrong very quickly and do a lot of damage when they do. That was unfortunate timing there for OneUp taking a fall there. So Matt has Tower of Hera, and then our wonderful favorite dungeon in GT. Yeah, so for those of you who are just joining us or didn't watch the whole thing, OneUp had a little bit of a lead for, I'd say, the vast majority of the race. OneUp did go ahead and make the AGA play that was required first, and then OneUp went to pod and grabbed the boots first. I personally think that routing choice was a little quicker than what Matt did. With the hammer sitting in Skull Woods as well as the Cane Samaria, OneUp did have to double dip pod to complete it, but was able to get the boots way faster that way. And I think that saved a little bit of time overall. But then, yeah, OneUp took a really unfortunate death to Viddy. You know how those eyeballs go. Whoa! That was, that Moldorm was, riding Matt's tail there for a little bit. That is Moldorm down. So, this could be really fast. There are 22 chests in the basement of GT that could contain that big key. Don't give me a number, because we are not going to be seeing Matt open up a whole lot of chests. Give me a room. And if there's more than one chest in the room, go ahead and give me the specific chest. You guys got about, probably, I'd say, 20 seconds to get your guests in chat, so toss them in there. We're not doing a bot since we don't have numbers, unfortunately, but go ahead and get them in there anyways if you want. I didn't look at the spoiler log for where this thing is, but I tend not to guess, because if I guess and I somehow manage to be correct, everyone accuses me of having looked at it, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Alrighty, so that is all we've got as OneUp grabs his 6th crystal here from Trinex, and Matt is going left. So for all of you who guessed tile room or compass room, I am sorry. Nice 300 on the torch. We do not need that today. Wait, never mind. Never mind! You can tell I don't know where it is because I thought we were done. We are grabbing a key out of there, which means there probably wasn't a key in Hope Room. Alright, the 2 or 3 who guessed tile room are probably having a really fun time right now, but nope, we're headed towards the compass room, looks like. Nice quick movement there from Matt, while OneUp does a nice one try on that Harrot pot, which is another great way to save some time. That was really close. That was really close. Bottom left chest in compass room. Oh, man. You almost had it, my friend. You almost had it. One chest away. We are headed up the tower now. The gauntlet is another wonderful place where things can go wrong because there's a lot of stuff here that likes doing damage, and several of those things, like for instance the Beamos, do 100 damage regardless of what color shirt you're wearing. So 3 hearts is not really a whole lot to work with, and Matt has to get at least to the room before Landmo 2, unless Matt makes a stop at our refill room to grab some more health here. So this is not over by any means. It is basically one false step away from being a really close game at this point. Alright, we are skipping the fill-up room. It's time to do the gauntlet with 3 hearts and, if I'm not mistaken, a blue goo. Oh, that fairy! That fairy was a clutch drop. Holy cow. It still has potential to be not fun, but 7 hearts is a heck of a lot nicer than 3. Zyzax being pretty friendly there. We just got a couple rooms left. Speaking of Zyzax being friendly, other than a beam in the butt, that room went pretty nicely as well. Alrighty. Oh, there goes the not fun part. Alrighty, so say hello to Landmo 2. If Matt can avoid this Medusa and time everything correctly, this will be a pretty quick set of shots here. Little early on the third one. Nice recovery. Still a 1 cycle. You can still count it. Very nicely done. That timing is difficult because it lags ever so slightly, especially for the third shot. Onto the most satisfying rooms in the game. That first one is nice. Oh, as everything gets in the way of OneUp's last torch there. That second room is so much fun to do, and it's really not that difficult once you manage it once or twice. Alrighty, so there's our big key, and OneUp is running super low on magic here. Alright, we have dodged the GT despawn, which is another way to have terrible, terrible things happen. But not today, so we just need a key from this Helmosaur here. We're down to 2 hearts. Alright, no GT climb without a little bit of drama here, so let's get a refill here and make it a little less scary. Cool. Alright, nice quick Moldorm 2 fight there, as OneUp is headed through the Ganon Ball Z room. We are not seeing that last chest of the game. If OneUp skips it, I will go ahead and satisfy your curiosities and tell you what it is, but not until OneUp skips it. OneUp's also a little low on health here, only having 3 hearts. Alright, time for everyone's favorite math test, agonometry. Alright, double there, not bad. This one's also not a terrible setup, especially if we can... There we go. Nice triple. Alright, we just need one more hit to finish this one off and head towards the pig. Very nicely done. 2, 3, 1. OneUp is down to 1 heart here. Woo! That was close. Alright, time to Landmo 2 here for OneUp, as Matt is dropping down, ready to say hello to our pig. We do not have the butter sword today, but we have everything else to make this fight not awful. Only 6 arrows, though. Speaking of arrows, 1UP only has 3. Oh, make that 8. And Ganon showing true piggy thoughts here. If they don't want you to have a midnight snack, why is there a light in the fridge? I have to say, he makes a good point. Yeah, if any of you want to guess where the 4th sword is or anything else, you can go ahead, and when we are done here, I will divulge some information on it if you'd like. Alright, so we are down past the scary fire bays. Fire bays, goodness gracious. That's what happens when your mouth gets ahead of your head and you just try to, like, smush words together. Fire bat phase. Now we just have Ganon throwing a little bit of a tantrum here. And as long as 4 of Matt's 6 arrows land safely into the pig, we will have ourselves a nice ending to this fight. Oh, that was a really nice timing for that torch blitz. There's a double. We have 1 more here to finish them off. All right, we have a 1x3 bridge for Matt to conquer. Once that is done, you guys can get your GGs in chat. Alrighty, so go ahead and get those GGs in chat. Goodness gracious. For those of you who wanted to know, the last chest in the game after Moldorm 2 was just the map for GT, so definitely didn't need that. Meanwhile, Matt has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 59 seconds. That does include the spoiler log time, so it was just over an hour for the race itself, as 1UP is going to be headed into the Ganon fight here in just a moment. Hello, Matt. GG's. If you want to give us just a couple minutes here, 1UP is just finishing that their own Ganon fight.
Sure, no problem.
So do you watch the race at all, or were you doing this blind?
I checked in on 1UP stream when I was entering GT. No, sorry, Hera. That's the only time I looked.
I gotcha. I kind of had a feeling based upon how you guys were playing. I don't think 1UP did a whole lot of checking either. We'll ask here in just a moment, hopefully. He's just finished up with Phase 1, headed into Phase 2.
So he also screwed up the Ganon fight, looks like?
Yeah, well, you know. Tempered Sword 1-and-1's easy until it's not. Alright, so on to Phase 3 here. Just gonna have a couple of hits, and then with 8 silver arrows, we shouldn't have too much difficulty putting 4 of them into our pig to finish off. And that is a nice triple to end it. Goodness gracious. Alright, so let's have 1UP run through this bridge real quick and then go ahead and get your GGs in chat for them as well. Cool, so that is officially a dot done. 1UP finishes in second place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 45 seconds. Just a couple minutes behind there. Oh, that was a pretty good race, honestly. You guys routed pretty similarly. I'm hoping 1UP's going to hop in here so we can just pop this all at once, but I don't know if he tends to do interviews or not.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. That seed was not easy.
The early AGA was just kind of annoying.
Yeah, and well, you're basically forced to do it lampless. Getting the lamp would have been. I take it he didn't get it either. Yeah, getting the lamp would have been ridiculous. Like, and like the route that I made, I knew in my head that there was a faster route, and I deliberately took a safer route. And I was just kind of hoping that wouldn't bite me. Like if you could have done AGA when you got the hook shot, right? But I decided to be a baby and get that bottle and those 2 hearts.
I mean, you guys were pretty similar with your AGA climb. I think you had 1 more heart than oneup did, but overall it was pretty close. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, because I didn't spoil the location of the lamp was in the Tower of Hera basement. So you had to go grab your fire rod and then go hop up there and do the cutscene chest for the lamp. So that's why both our runners decided to skip it today. I don't know if oneup is hopping in here for an interview, so I'll just go ahead and
I can ask him for you.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great since you're already in a room with him. But yeah, the main divergence actually between you two was the fact that that you didn't go straight for the boots. oneup basically grabbed those boots right away. And double dipped pod, where you elected to grab the hammer and the cane of Samaria first, and then only did a single dip of pod. Going into it, oneup had you by probably about 45 seconds, but then took a death to Vidi.
Okay.
And that obviously just flipped everything right around. You also did grab half magic, which made things a little easier overall. I think you finished with 1 more heart than oneup had. But overall, it was pretty similar in terms of what you guys grabbed and didn't grab.
Yeah, so I was a little worried about that. I figured I would have been behind early because of kind of the amount of safety that I picked up. I'm surprised to hear he was 45 seconds ahead of me. That makes me think my boost decision or some of my other routing decisions were not right.
Yo, and we are joined in chat in oneup. GG, my friend.
GG's. Well done, Matt.
Yo, oneup GG, dude.
Vidi sucks, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, that mire was not the best mire, that's for sure.
Guys, both did pretty well through the dark rooms and such. Both of you had like a little bit of a difficulty, and oneup you were having some trouble with the spooky, but overall it went about as smooth as it was going with 6 or 7 hearts and no lamp.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on with Spooky. I'm thinking maybe I wasn't quite in the right spot for the duck at the beginning, because even when I came back through the second time, it still wasn't working, so yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know, maybe I didn't quite keep it properly when I used the cane to hit the switch up top.
Maybe. I don't know enough about that glitch to be able to add much information even when it wasn't in the dark, so I have no idea. But it was a valiant attempt, if nothing else. I don't see many people even try that one without a lamp. So, oneup, did you were you screen sniping at all, or were you going into this relatively blind?
Yeah, I had a tablet. I had tuned into the stream, and I was keeping an eye on that for most of it.
Like I was telling Matt, you had, I want to say, about 45 seconds to a minute ahead, and then in mire, and then, you know, Vidi does when you don't have silvers, and that kind of flipped on you a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell. It was a 45-second lead still, even after the bridge chest or whatever.
Yeah, that was after you did you think you grabbed the big key, or did you just write down the wrong chest?
No, I had the bridge chest, and I went to what I thought was the bridge chest, and I guess I wasn't paying super close attention when I opened it. Just noticed it looked key shaped, and just proceeded ahead and realized that's not the bridge chest. I don't know. I guess there's kind of 2 chests on bridges, and I picked the wrong one, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that was, and you still had a decent lead there, but then it was. I think in this instance, the call to grab boots first saved more time than the double dip of pod lost. But as it is with most rando seeds, especially spoiler log seeds, it's just kind of up in the air which one was faster at the end.
Yeah, I gotta watch this back. I don't know how I could have been a minute behind in Meyer.
So
what must have been really gaming then?
without OneUp's big key error in Meyer, OneUp had about a minute and a half. I want to say it was a fairly decent lead, and I think it was just the fact that you had to walk from the pyramid all the way to Skullwoods. Like, I think that sunk more time than off the top of your head it would have. I don't know though for certain.
Because I originally had routed in boots first, and I just decided to change my mind. I don't know why. I hear everybody keeps telling me that boots don't save that much time, and I've never believed it. I think it's BS when people say boostless seeds are fast. But for some reason today, I decided to buy into the rando mentality of delaying boots, and I guess it cost me a little bit.
Makes two of us that don't believe in that. Yeah, and I think part of it too is that getting the boots allowed me to get the glove out of Pegasus Rocks, which allowed me to enter the back of Escape and get my hook shot through the graveyard. So I didn't have to
you did
go,
it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much
have to
faster.
go
Okay.
through.
No, I'm just stupid. No, you did it right. Yeah. Okay. Like, I knew getting hookshot after Aga was faster. But I was just too much of a baby, and I went up and got the bottle and the hearts out of Paradox Gate first, and I needed the hookshot for that.
Yeah, I had a pretty close call going through there. I was kind of in the first dark room with the torches, the guard kind of jumped in my way. I ended up using like most of my magic meter just trying to hit the first torch.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a whole lot of magic left, so I didn't want to relight the torches again on the way out because I wanted to save some for the next floor.
Yeah.
And then, so I got out of that room with the key chest, and I just couldn't make it upstairs in the dark with those other two guards poking me the whole time. Like, there's no chance to get up there. They just continually poke you because they're the fast ones.
Yeah,
And
that guy
somehow
was...
I managed to get a spin off with half a heart left that took both of them out.
Yeah, that guy was trying to ruin my day as well. And I would also like to point out that that blue potion I brought with me into Ega Tower is still sitting in my inventory on the endgame stream right now. So it was a huge waste of time.
I mean, to some extent, but then to some extent, like, just having the blue goo kind of helps settle nerves and just play as you're going to play, because if things go really far south, just pop the blue goo.
Yeah, I did look out a little bit with the boots thing too. To be honest, originally I kind of forgot about like needing the hammer first for pod. And that's partially why I went over there early to get the boots. And then like as I was in pod, I'm like, wait a second, I don't have the hammer. I can't finish this. But thankfully, just the way the route worked out, like it was still faster than trying to clear pod all at once.
Makes sense. Yeah, your route was so much faster than mine. Now I'm not. Now I understand what I did wrong.
Yeah, that was an Aga one that kind of snuck up on you because, you know, like you go through the spoiler and you're like, okay, the hammer's in the dark world, so where are the two gloves? Okay, both gloves are in the light world, so I don't need Aga, right? And then, like, as you're going through the seed, you're like, wait a second. The one glove is boots locked, and the boots are in the dark world, so I am going to need Aga. So, yeah, that was a little subtle.
Yeah, then you control F lamp and then just get sad, and because I'm terrible at the dark Aga.
Yeah, when it goes well, it's not too bad, but I've had a couple of times recently where enemies have just wanted to get in between me and the torch, and it just makes everything difficult. Because you just keep on hitting them with the fire rod instead of the torch, and it's awful.
Yeah, it's one of those things that has like if you can get everything off the way it's supposed to be done, it's not too bad, but it's really easy for enemy RNG to just heck you up. Like, once you miss that shot, it's like, wait, did I have that lined up exactly correctly and a guard just got in the way, or was I a little off too? And then you don't have a whole lot of fire rod shots to work with, especially if you're not walking in there with a whole lot else to do a lot of damage to these enemies in the dark. And it's just, things can really get in your head really fast. You guys honestly both did really well for Aga. I was fully expecting a death from one of you, and that just didn't happen. It was close on both sides, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never very comfy to do that with not a whole lot of health and without a lamp.
Yeah, there's a reason that you guys are running and I'm not running, but I would have definitely grabbed that stinking lamp. I'm not gonna lie. I've been like, I'll take the minute loss. It's gonna cost me less time than dying twice will.
Yeah, the worst part about it too is if it had just been in Hera, like maybe that wouldn't have been too bad. Like, you could say, well, I'm gonna go up there full clear crystal, and then like I won't have to mirror in and out. I won't have to cross over to the other side of the mountain and stuff. But like the fact that it was in the big, the big key chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even if you did go out of your way, you were gonna wait an extra minute and a half on top of that just to get it out of there.
Yeah, like against, you can't do it at this stage of this tournament. There's no way. You'll never win if you get the lamp in this seed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, either way, you guys did really well. Other than lamp hiding, the seed wasn't really too bad. I'm sure you guys would have preferred a little bit more in the way of safety. Matt, you grabbed the half magic, but that was really about it. No Burna, no cape. Not really a whole lot in the way of bottles. You guys each got a red goo, I think. And then Matt, you filled up a blue goo. I think that started as red. I might be wrong.
Yeah, it did.
It's nice to know that I'm remembering some things correctly, but overall, you didn't have a whole lot in terms of invulnerability or anything like that. Either way, GG for both of you. You guys have 1 week left. Is there anyone that you guys are looking forward to potentially facing or not looking forward to facing, as the case may be?
Ooh. I wasn't looking forward to face oneup, so I already got that out of the way. I don't know. I don't know if I have a shot of making it. I don't know if my, whatever the, opponent strength is going to be strong enough. So if I can't make it, I want somebody really good, just to have a good race.
It's fair. I think if what I've heard is correct, and it might very well be wrong, or I may have misheard it. I think that one person who's 5-2 is going to make it. So.
Oh, it's only one.
I think it's only one. Now I might be wrong. I could very well be incorrect, but that's what I heard, and I haven't double checked it. So take that with a grain of salt, or as the case may be, just take the salt and look it up. But I know there is going to be at least one person from 5-2 that makes it. I don't know if it's going to be any more than one, though.
Huh. Okay. Fair enough. Are you sure about that? I don't think that's right.
I am not sure at all. I'm parroting what I heard. I could very well be incorrect. But
I don't know. I haven't really been paying that much attention.
All right, so oneup, how about you? You're heading in here. You're going to be 3-3, so I'm sure you're looking forward to finishing this tournament over 500 if you can.
Yeah, that's the goal at least. Yeah, kind of like Matt said, I wasn't really looking forward to going against Matt, but just everyone left at this stage, and like even the higher brackets too, or the higher records or whatever. Like there's just so many great players. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head who's all going to be in the 3-3 bracket, so or record. I don't know, whatever the group, I guess. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Hopefully yeah, hopefully I don't make a big error like I did tonight.
I mean, to some extent, like, you died at Vitreous, and that sucks. But I mean, there's a lot of RNG that goes into a non-silvers Vidi fight, you know. So at some point, you're just kind of unlucky. Like, unless you intended to do something and you didn't manage it, like you don't know when that eyeball is gonna pop up and poke you, and you've got basically no reaction time if it does. So it's just kind of playing the, I hope you sit still for the next 3 seconds while I hop onto the goo and take my 100 damage.
Yeah, that's true. It's especially easy for yeah, when you're at low health like that and you go a while without getting hit, it can kind of sneak up on you how fast you are taking damage. It's like, okay, well, I took a hit, I'm still okay. I took a second, oh, I just took my third hit, I'm dead. Because, yeah, I mean, yeah, the worst part is I had, I think, 2 red potions, and, like, if I would have just used one of them, you know, I would have been fine. But, yeah, it just snuck up, and that was that.
It didn't sneak up twice though, because you did chug a very clutch red goo in the last room of the gauntlet there.
Yeah, I'm not convinced if that would have hit me or not, but it sure made me feel so much better.
I think you were toast. I'm not certain, and you may have been able to just sneak your way out of it, but it looked imminent to me. And then I saw you pop open the menu with the bottles, and I was like, okay, so he thinks he's SOL too. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it certainly
sure
would
it
have
was-
been very, very close either way. Definitely too close to try to make it through there without taking the heal.
Yeah, especially because I think that BMOS was lining up for a shot as well. So you would have had to sneak past the Medusa shot and then be able to get through that BMOS shot too, which is difficult if you're not, bootsing.
Yeah.
So I think that's all I've got in terms of questions. Do you guys want to add anything before we get on up out of here?
Yeah, I just want to give one up, GG, dude, and good luck in the All Dungeons tournament. You are my pick to win the Silvers bracket, so I'm quietly rooting for you.
All right, yeah, GG's to you. Hope you make it into the brackets. Yeah, it's gonna be close to see. Good luck, and we'll see what happens.
Thanks, man.
We'd just like to point out, Matt, there are over 100 people watching this on SpeedGaming 3 right now, so I'm fairly certain that your quiet rooting just got a little less quiet.
There you go. Hopefully we'll get some restreams on these last matches, and you guys can watch that too.
Yeah, that stuff, that's a crazy stuff right there. All right, so I think that's all we got. Like I said before, give these guys a follow. They're both very stinking good at this game. And then go ahead, and while you're giving follows, give a follow to my my friendly tracker here, Yonker's wife, who is pressing the buttons. Tracking is not easy, and tracking for a spoiler log race is tracking on hard because those items are so fast. You just have to try and you have to have 5 sets of eyeballs to keep track of everything. So shout out to her as well. If you guys have not gotten your fill of spoiler log, we are unfortunately done for the night. There are a host of races that are set for tomorrow as we finish out this second to last week in the Swiss round. Those rank everywhere from 10:15 in the morning to about 8:15 at night. Those times being Eastern. So go ahead and keep an eye on the schedule to see how many of those get restreamed as they go. And then after that, we have our final week of Swiss, which is going to be insane because everyone's going to be vying for those spots. I think that's it. I don't have anything else, at least. Since I've got no one else to hand it off to, I'm just going to wish you guys a great night. Stay safe tomorrow in your celebrations if you choose to celebrate the 4th. And yeah, have a good night, everyone. And keep playing some random.